Folks, welcome to Set Apart Homestead. This is Travis. I wanted to start off by just thanking everyone for watching and for all you liking and sharing and subscribing to the channel. It means a lot to me. You know, I just started this to get on here and maybe share a little bit of experience and knowledge and be able to connect with other people and maybe provide a way for them to connect with other people. And I'm every day amazed at how many people are still watching and commenting and giving feedback. I enjoy it. Wanted to talk about something that I'm experiencing personally right now and how it affects the subjects that we discuss on this channel, and that is personal injury and or disability. How that affects you on a homestead, and very importantly, how that affects or could affect you in an SHTF situation. Even if it's something of small magnitude, like a weather-related event, all the way up to something apocalyptic, because it can happen. Most likely it will. You have to kind of prepare for that sort of thing. And so what you need to do is, as you're doing your plans, whether it's living out like this and trying to be self-sufficient, or planning for when the big balloon goes up, you need to kind of start thinking about that. What do I do? What does my family do? My mag, my group, whatever, that if I've become injured and maybe I'm unable to pull my weight for a while, how do things keep going on? How does it affect everyone? And that's something that I'm dealing with today. I pulled my back out, and I'm still mobile. It's not as bad as it's been in the past, but it's quite painful and it's slowed me down. I've not ever talked about this on the channel before because it's not something that's, not that I don't like to talk about it, it's not a primary thing in my life. At least I try not to think about it that way. But I do have a degenerative spinal cord disease. And I'm still able to do things. It's not to that point. I've had a few surgeries on my spine and brainstem area. I've got a tumor in there that they can't get out without paralyzing or possibly killing me. So it's just something I live with. But because of the surgeries mostly, and also because of that, it's, I can pull my back out if I don't watch it. And I've done that. Like I said, it's not as bad as it's been. I'm not flat on my back this time. I'm still moving around, but whew, does it not feel good. And for those of you that have back problems, I've got something in my eye. For those of you, I apologize for this, folks. For those of you that have back problems, had back surgery, you probably know what it feels like to have your back go out. There's not too many things in this that hurt quite like that. But it makes me think, we have to be prepared for that. We're prepared for that around here. Now, I'm still able on a daily basis to do pretty much everything that I need to do around here. But when this happens, and maybe I'm not able to do my share of the chores, what happens? And then also, SHTF, some kind of, whether it's, like I said, it could just be something like a hurricane or a flood or a tornado. It also could be something, majorly catastrophic. How does that affect us? You have to be prepared for it. I'm big on medical, and I'm big on food. I know I talk about that kind of stuff. Sorry, I've still got something in my eye. I'll try to keep talking. I know I talk about those things probably more than I do a lot of others. And it's because, in my experiences, those are, the most important things. In past jobs, I've actually had to help out in areas that's experienced disasters, tornadoes, hurricanes, things like that. And the two things that people need the most are food and medical supplies. That is, those are the things that they go through the most, the things that they need the most, because, you may say, well, I've got this many guns and this many rounds of ammunition, and you may be safe, from some invading marauders, but if you don't have anything to eat, you're not going to last very long, and you can't eat bullets very well. So I'm big on that. It doesn't mean that I don't think that guns and bullets or other things aren't important. Surely they are. But I'm big on food and medical supplies. So make sure you have adequate medical supplies and some sort of medical knowledge training. Sure, it's best if you get professional training, but just having some good books around. Books for like EMT books, nursing books, things like that, paramedic books. You can find those types of things very easily at thrift stores. I find a lot of them, where someone's gone and got their paramedic's license, and they had to buy their textbooks, and then textbooks are expensive when you buy them new, and they're worthless when they're used. And so they'll drop them off at a thrift store. Those types of things can be very valuable to you. And making sure that you have some medical gear to get you through injury. Now, something like what I'm experiencing right now, there's not a whole lot of medical gear that can help it. I mean, there's some medication that can help you get through it, but something like you're pulling your back out, there's really nothing that's going to, make it go away any sooner. Rest is about the best thing for it. So you have to plan, what do you do? Especially, if, the balloon has gone up and the whole world is in chaos. One person down, if you're a family, if you're just a family, husband, wife, and kids, that one person is extremely valuable. If you're a lone wolf and you go down, now it's even worse. You don't have anyone to take care of you, anyone to get food for you, take care of your food, provide security, anything like that. If you're in a group, they're going to be a little bit better equipped to handle one person down, but still, one person down slows the whole system down. So there are some things that you need to be doing, and you can do this, in your home already, especially if you, homestead. You need to cross-train, have secondary jobs. In most families, in this, I don't want to come across sexist, but in most families, most of the guys have their job that they do around the house. Most of the wives have the job that they do, and then kids have their chores. But we need to cross-train as much as possible. If part of my job is doing vehicle maintenance, and my wife has no clue how to change a tire or, do some kind of minor repair, if I go down and I'm unable to do that, and we have a flat tire, then, how's it going to get fixed? I've either got to, pull myself up by the bootstraps and make myself go out and fix it. And if I'm in severe conditions, I may just not be able to. Today it hurt, but I could do it. But if something bad was to happen, I just may not be able to at all. So she needs to know how to do that. And in the same way, if you're kind of living out of your garden, if that's part of your plan to be self-sufficient, and you guys may not know how to, say, can your vegetables that you get out of your garden, and something happens to your wife where she's unable to do it for a while, harvest time comes around, you've got all these, vegetables sitting around and other foods that need to be put up and preserved. You need to cross-train and learn how to do those things. And those, that type of thinking will cross over and be extremely helpful, if something really bad was to happen, apocalyptic. It's very important. I don't think a lot of people think about that, because we live in a world that, if something happens, you get hurt, you get sick, you can, go to the doctor. Hey, before too long, we'll probably all just have a bunch of free health care, or to be free to go to the doctor. Sorry. That's going off to an area I should stay out of in this video. I digress. Anyways, there are doctors around. There's emergency rooms, and there's hospitals, and there's Walgreens that carry all kinds of, over-the-counter supplies. But that may not always be the case. And so we kind of take our health for granted. We take the fact that if we get the flu, if we get strep throat, or get pneumonia, if we break an arm or break a leg, or even nowadays getting a more major disease that it's more treatable nowadays with our medical science and technology that we have. So we take those things for granted, and we need to realize that they may not always be there, and we need to have a plan for what happens when someone goes down. Someone gets hurt, someone breaks a leg, and then they're not able to do patrols or to go hunting or whatever it is. Because think of it this way, it's kind of like living out like this. For those of you that kind of live like this, out on a farm, a homestead, whatever you want to call it, self-sufficient, because of this kind of lifestyle, because you're outside working with animals, hunting, foraging, those types of things, you're more susceptible to injury than if you're just, sitting in front of the TV. Because you're out moving around, you're using tools that can cause injury. You're out in the wild a little bit more. And it's going to be even more so dangerous, and you're going to be even more susceptible to injury after SHTF. Because you're going to have to, there's certain things that I don't have to do here because, we still live in a world that, kind of sort of got it all together. But eventually, if something happens, there's going to be things that I have to go out and do to protect us, to provide for us, that I'm not forced to do now. And so having good health is very important. And it's not just about injury. It's also, taking care of your body as much as you can now. And then it's also, it includes disabilities. That's a touchy subject. A lot of people, there's groups that won't include you if you have a disability because you become too much of a liability, things like that. I think that most everyone, regardless of their physical condition, should have something to give. It may all just be up here, but that's valuable. It can be invaluable. What is in your head? If you have lived a lifestyle that's similar to this, and you have knowledge of things that no one else in the group has, but maybe you're not as physically able to do things, then you can still contribute to the group. If you hear that noise in the background, the property over that way, they're doing a little logging out of it. They're not doing any clear cut, but they're taking some of the big oaks out, and the big old logging truck is noisy. You can hear him, the sound roaring through the hills out here, in case you hear that. Just because you have a disability, or just because maybe, of your age, maybe you're more elderly, and you feel that you can't contribute, you can. And then there's also the fact that because of my, spiritual beliefs, following the book, I feel that I'm commanded that, to do my part as much as I can to help take care of those kind of people. If Yah brings them to me and, we cross paths, and it's apparent that I feel led by Him that, I need to kind of help this person, or, whatever I can, you got to include that also. How does that fit into an SHTF plan? Well, it makes it tough sometimes. In some ways, they might be a liability if they have a disability. But I think everyone has a thing to contribute to this kind of lifestyle. So don't just discount someone because they have some type of injury or disability. Because, even though what's going on with me today, I can still contribute. And there's a lot of people that still can. So, anyways, it's just something to think about, especially just making plans that everyone's cross-trained. You need to, the things that you know to do and that you're really good at, you need to teach your wife how to do them. Your wife needs to teach you how to do stuff. You need to teach your kids how to do stuff. And then expand from that to your group, so that everyone kind of has an idea of what's going on. They may not be an expert in it, but you know, if this one guy, if he's kind of the group mechanic, well, what happens if he goes down? You know, then you don't have someone to fix things. So you need to, you know, what if one guy, he's the medic and he goes down? So you need to cross-train and do that in your home, and it works real well, you know, out here living this kind of life that you know, my wife and I, you know, I have things that I'm more the expert in, and she certainly has things that she's the expert in. But, you know, if she's sick, I can do most of everything she does. Not as well. She'll let me know it too. I'm just kidding. And then, you know, if I can't do things, she can handle the stuff that I do. So take that thinking into your preparedness plan also. And then I would suggest, when it comes to those with disabilities, you still have something to contribute. Don't just think that, you know, because you're disabled in some way that you can't. And as far as groups that would be, you know, taking, you know, accepting into their group someone that's disabled, you know, search your heart, pray about it, because I think you'll see, you know, that, you know, the Father in heaven has kind of a different idea about it. At least that's how I see it. I may be wrong. And everyone should have something to contribute. If you look at the old tribal communities and stuff, Native Americans and stuff, where the elders didn't go out and hunt. The elders, you know, got to a point where they didn't do a whole lot, but they were still considered part of the tribes. In fact, they were, you know, revered because of the knowledge and wisdom that they had. We should do that same thing. You know, it's a sad thing that we live in a society that really looks down on the disabled and the elderly, because I believe that everyone has something to contribute. All right, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch y'all in the next video.